Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets.
Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Angelo Stiller. That is the name that we're hearing. That is the noise that we're hearing coming out of Germany, that Manchester United are interested in the Stuttgart midfielder, Angelo Stiller. I ain't going to lie to you lot. Don't know a lot about him. I'm not going to do that pretend thing on the internet that I watch Stuttgart and know loads about this player. Football scholars, do your thing. This is where I've seen Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, saying how good he is. He's a controller. He's a this. He's the next one up. Tony Cruz said that Real Madrid should sign him. Yep, Real Madrid been after him. All of that. Listen, fine. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm saying I don't know much about this player. What I do know is that Ineos's targets, to be fair, especially this summer, have matched what I'm thinking they should go for, have matched what we are thinking they should go for. So if they think that this is a good option instead of Baleba to then get him next year, but you get this still a kid now, then I got to go with it. I like Cunha. I like Mbumo. I like Shesko. I like the fact he was trying to get Baleba. That makes sense. So you lot better scout. That's your job. Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Christian Vavell, those type of guys. This is your job. So you lot better get scouted. And football scholars, you lot all in the comments on Instagram, you lot in the comments on Twitter and X and TikTok, all of that, get scholaring. I'm going to watch comps. I'm just going to do the casual football fan thing. I'm going to watch comps, which is probably not the best way to do it. But I'm not a football scholar. You football scholars, tell me what's going on. Because the only Stiller I know is Ben. So let me know what's going on here. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Loads to get into. Of course, Hojlund's Napoli loan. There's stuff about that. Sancho to Roma as well. There's more about that. And a little bit on Harry Maguire and his situation, current situation at Man United, as of course. So there's loads to get into, Owen.
Yes, there is indeed. Good morning, folks. How are we all doing? Hope you're all doing good. Welcome back to the Transfer View. Smash a like, as Flex said. We're 3 away from 100, straight away through the door. So if you haven't already, click that like button. Let's get to 100, on our way to 500, 750, 1K likes this morning. And be sure to subscribe. You can see right there in the top right-hand corner, just less than 300 to go until 203,000 on the road to $250,000. $250,000 is where we're heading. But before we talk about Angelo Stiller, and Flex mentioned the Stillers that we do know, Ben and Jerry, you know, go think of King of Queens, yep. Seinfeld, yeah, proper classic. But Flex, I tell you what, people doubted me. On these shows. They say, Owen, you don't know what you're talking about. They say, Owen, it's a bit risky, that one. I'm not really sure. And I say, Flex, yeah, I don't do predictions. I do spoilers in the game that is known as Final One Standing. And here's how to get involved.
You guys are always talking about football scholars and ball knowledge. When now's the time to stop the talk and prove it. Could you predict the Premier League if we gave you £500,000 to do it? The rules are simple. Pick one Premier League team each week. If they win, you're through to the next round. Comfy, easy. But if they lose or they draw, you're gone. Finito. You're done. Once you've played a team once, you can't use them again. So there's no rinsing out the favourites. And the best part of it is, it's completely free to play with 500 grand up for grabs. Yes, £500,000. So turn your predictions into picks. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the video description below to get involved. 18 plus, UK only, and please gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply, and full terms are in the link below.
There you have it, guys. Exactly that. And listen, it's week 2 now. It's week 2. So I'm still in it because I went safe. I went with Spurs. No problems there. But if you're out, don't worry. Some people, you know, went for Man United. They wanted to be loyal for the badge, and you went Man United and you're out. You know what I'm saying? Some people might have gone Brentford. I think they're going to surprise a few people. You'd be out. But don't worry. If you're out, there's plenty more that you can get involved with. You can get straight back involved in the next week as well. You can also enter. So if you're knocked out of the 500k league, there's different leagues that you can go into. And the second week 2, there's a jackpot of £50,000 as well. So remember, if you want to play, you can just scan the QR code on the screen or the link in the video description below. You can do that. You can get involved. You download the app. You make your pick before the game week begins, before the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, and make your picks and enjoy. That's it. It's that simple. You know what I mean?
Yep, simple as that. As Flex said in the videos, 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Please gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. And the full terms, as always, are in the link below as well. And in fact, Flex, my success, to be honest, was so good that even William Hill themselves had to be like, you know what, actually, Owen, it's not going to lie, it's pretty impressive stuff. Really. That's what they were saying to me. You guys can see here, look at this. William Hill, they said it on the Sunderland, never in doubt. Never in doubt. Yeah, because this was from the show last Friday, yeah? That was the screen grab. Sunderland. That's what I went with at the time, yeah? Look at that.
Yeah.
3-0.
True.
Not in doubt. And
as we say, you can only use one team once. So Sunderland, of course, newly promoted team, gonna be, you would assume, fairly difficult to pick them on a lot of weeks. So to pick them this early and you don't have to do it again, you're laughing. I mean, if you're looking at teams like Burnley and Leeds, obviously if you would have picked Leeds, you would have been all right as well. You got them out the way early, but Burnley is one that you probably want to hope you're the last one, final one standing before you get to that. Because Burnley's going to be quite a difficult one because they might not win many games. But there you go. You make your pick, you lock it in, and you can change it. You know, look, there you go. You got 10 hours there. 10
hours.
There you go. So if you make your pick there, you can change it.
Robbie's going with Arsenal against Leeds.
Yes. Yeah, we all
now,
do.
Of course, I can't use, obviously, Sunderland because I used that last week. So, this is who's
Arsenal.
Sorry, Arsenal is a smart, but this is the thing. Once again, are there any like shrewd ones?
I would say Bournemouth Wolves.
You know, are there any shrewd ones that I can go with? But then again, I know Wolves lost, but it was like, you know, they were all right against City.
They did it right. City
scoreline didn't really reflect it. I think you've got to go Arsenal.
This is the one where you got to go Arsenal. It's too risky. Or I'd probably go Villa if I had to choose somewhere else.
Yeah, I've got to go Arsenal.
You got to stay in. Yeah, there you go.
My pick. It's locked in, Fleck. I'm locked in. I need some like lock-in music. I'm locked in. We are locked in. Oh, got to change this. There you go.
Wait a minute.
Call it anything.
I'm locked out. There you go.
Look at that. Wow, not bad. You know,
we're straight back. Seamless. Yeah. Right. Let's jump into the transfer news because Angelo Stiller. That's a name that we're being linked with.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's going on here?
Yes, this is quite interesting. So we kind of touched on this last night, James and myself, on the premiere of Trafford Talk.
Yes.
The news came out from Ben Jacobs and Sam C on social media saying that one of the midfielders on Manchester United's list of options was Stuttgart's Angelo Miller. Now, there's no guarantee. We kind of joked about this last night. There's no guarantee anything develops or that any midfielder arrives, which already kind of poo-poos your story straight away, doesn't it? But internal discussions are taking place over different targets. Stiller has come up in discussions, and Manchester United are now deciding whether or not another midfielder is going to be signed before the window shuts on September 1st. Of course, it does depend on outgoings, but the account's back, Fleck. Indicalia said it, but I know the reputation now is kind of a bit in the mud with the whole with the Belabor stuff, kind of in the mud. They were saying, and to be honest, it's kind of like it's a non-story what they're reporting, which is kind of way go. There might be something in it because they say his agent had a meeting with Man United officials in London yesterday, which is kind of like already what's being reported.
Yeah.
Kind of what's already being reported.
Yeah. Shortlist vibes.
Yeah, exactly. But he has a release clause apparently of just 36.5 million euro, but that kicks in next year. But Stuttgart have a sneaky option to buy that clause out for just 2 million at any time. The player is 100% in the shortlist. Right now, talks are still in the early stages, but it's definitely a situation to keep an eye on. There's a lot of emojis in that message, isn't there? My goodness me. So like you said, we kind of spoke on this yesterday that I'm with you. Don't know a ton. You know, I don't know a ton about Stiller. He is a name that has come up quite a bit on social media. You know, and the thing about the release clause is indeed accurate. Florian Plettenberg reported this back in March on Stiller, saying Stuttgart can buy out Angelo Stiller's release clause, valid from the summer of 2026, at any time for around 2 million euros. When finalizing the release clause, up to 40 million euro, depending on the buying club, Stuttgart contractually secured the right to buy it out at any time. Stiller would not be able to reject this Stuttgart sum. In this case, he would receive the amount immediately and his contract would not be extended. Only the release clause would become void as soon as the €2 million is transferred. Because of this option, Stuttgart remain relaxed. He has a contract until 2028. So at the end of the season, he's going to have 2 years left on his deal. But this release clause that's in his contract, at any point, Stuttgart goes, here's €2 million, and that release clause doesn't exist anymore. So one would think inevitably they're going to pay him that money to get that release clause out of the way, because otherwise next season he's going to go for quite cheap. I suppose it's maybe just a thing where, can United have a conversation with Stuttgart, with his agents, and sort of say, look, we know you got this release clause next year. We're going to have to pay more because, one, it's not active yet, and two, they're going to just disappear at any point. So I suppose a bit of a complicated one, a bit of a complicated one to do. And like you said, we don't even know how real any of this even is as well. It's another midfielder. It's another midfielder discussion.
Yeah, I think we need talks. We need discussions. I think I'd be a bit more concerned if it was like we're not linked to anyone. It's just super, super quiet. What's going on? Doesn't mean we're going to get this guy Stiller. Doesn't mean that. But there has to be talks and discussions because, like I said, we showed our hand. We're willing to spend more money. And we have to be willing to spend more money. We've got 3 really good signings, but we need a couple more in the areas that we've been discussing for ages. So I think it is just exactly that, isn't it? Just on the list, on a short list, and one to keep an eye on. I don't think there's anything massively dramatic that has happened, a big bid going in or imminent, or talks between clubs. And, there's definitely no Ornstein of, United contact Stuttgart for, this, that, and the other. No club-to-club stuff. So there's, I think this is really early stages, and I think he will just be literally on a list of midfielders that they be. This, we were talking about Hillman this time last week. Mm-hmm. So that's just this is another one to add on to the potential list. And usually when stuff like this happens, you end up getting to it, and this is some next guy. Never heard of him. He just never linked. And then all of a sudden you get him on loan or something. And that's what's going to be interesting for me. Do we try to get someone on loan with an option to buy to see how it goes? To go big next year, or do we buy somebody now? And if we do buy somebody now, do we care what that looks like? Do we care, don't pay too much for player X? Because, when you speak to sort of Ben Jacobs and, Laurie Whitwell and other people, there is this notion, which we haven't really spoke about, that we have eaten into next year's budget as it stands. Like they keep saying that, they keep talking like they've gone into next year's budget to potentially get Belabor, etc., etc.
Yeah, was it with the Belabor one. It was very much like that money's been set aside for next year to get Belabor or someone of that ilk to spend that amount of money on a midfielder. The only reason that we were sort of doing it looking at it in this window is because Man United felt that they could, so they were dipping into next year's budget to get that. The question now becomes, the question now becomes, okay, would we be willing to do that with anyone else? Probably not. Anyone else now we get in this window is dependent on sales. And this is another thing we were talking about during Trafford Talk, that it's a bit of a weird situation to be in, because we know there is going to be money coming in. Like Alejandro Garnacho, the window's not going to shut and Garnacho doesn't end up at Chelsea. He's going to go to Chelsea. As of right now, the only thing we don't know is how much it's going to be for. Like Chelsea with this super low valuation of 25 million. Man United, that's miles off what we're thinking. We're thinking like 50. You sold Madueke for a similar amount to Arsenal. And in terms of what's they've done in the Premier League or in England in their career, Garnacho's far past what Noni Madueke's done. You know what I mean? Garnacho's played over 100 games in the Prem, scored goals in cup finals. This is a promising youngster. So we know that money's coming in. We're going to talk about Sancho in a bit. You would think that one will get resolved, even if he does have to end up going to Turkey after the window shuts because he stonewalled all the offers. He's going to go somewhere. United aren't going to just have him sitting around. The Hojlund one looks like, from a week or so ago, even if he's not number one, he's still thinking of, he wants to stay, he loves his club now after being left out at the weekend completely. It's like pennies dropped. I'm going to have to get out of here. He's saying to Napoli, not only would I want to go there, I want an obligation, because wherever I go next, I want to be in for the long term. So that money is going to be coming in. So really, Man United know that actually in the next couple of weeks, they've probably got a sizable amount of money coming through the door. So the idea that they couldn't in this window sign a midfielder with this year's budget is not impossible. I think the confusion maybe stems from how much are we going to have to spend and how much time are we going to have to spend it? Do we really want to be doing last day transfer window madness, seeing what market opportunities are out there? Or do they go, actually, you know what? That's good money to sit on. We can actually be quite active in January, which we usually aren't. And by that point as well, you've had, what was it, about 3 months of the season, 4 months of the season. You can kind of assess where you're at, because sometimes your whole season, how far you go and how well you do at the end of it, sometimes can be quite dependent on where were you at in January and how did you spend there? Did you get anyone in through the door that could just add that little bit of extra? How often you look at, say, like Arsenal, who we played the weekend, I don't know for how many seasons they've been talking about, January we didn't do enough. Or, you look at City, they got January, they got a couple of signings through the door, made a massive difference. That's the difference between getting, Champions League football. Look at us when it came to Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. We got him in January, changed our season. I mean, I know it was halfway through what later became on to be like the latter start of the first COVID season, but, it changed. We wouldn't have got Champions League football that year if it weren't for Bruno Fernandes coming through. So those January windows can be really, really important, and to have money going into it would be positive. I suppose it's just frustrating that if some of the players and teams had kind of worked with us maybe a bit better, we could have maybe had more money now to sit on and go, right, we've got a week left, let's go do some business. But it's going to be tight, isn't it? That last few days is going to be very tight.
It's going to be proper tight because, like you said, like you've been saying about the outgoings, and it was interesting. I did see, we haven't really got it on the sheet there, but I saw, what was his name? Pellegrini. His quotes about Anthony sort of saying he knows we want him here. He actually wants to be here, but Man United need to give us a decision or something like that. Almost like saying Man United are the ones that are waiting to see if other bids come in that are more expensive or something. But, Pellegrini made it sound like we've already told Anthony we want him back, and he's already told us he wants to be here. Which is weird. Why would that would look like the most easiest deal to do, because he'd been there, good rapport with the fans and the manager, resurgent, not looking for big money moves and trying to go to Barcelona or trying to do this or that, was just look like he's happy to just remain as is and make that permanent. But as of now, it still hasn't happened, and it's just been so quiet on the Anthony front. But it is about the sales. It is about the sales, and that's why when we linked with this Angelo Stiller, like you said, release clause 36 million that kicks in next year, but it gives you a ballpark of where the value kind of is for this guy. You know what I mean? If it's 36 million release clause, but that's next year. So if you want to buy him now without that release clause, I don't know, maybe they say it's 40 million euro or something. I don't know.
Well, and also, like they're saying there, Florian Plettenberg saying, yes, next year he's got a 36 million euro release clause, but he really doesn't, because at any point Stuttgart can buy it out for 2 million euros. So
yeah,
he doesn't
say that.
He doesn't
it's
have
not
a release
there.
clause, really.
Right, we'll give you around that, and they said, we've taken that off 2 million.
Yeah.
So give us 42 million, please.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And like with the Anthony thing as well, I had hoped that he had kind of realized, because it's all good. Manuel Pellegrini go, well, he wants to be here, we want him. Then give the money. Like that's what it is. I mean, when they were selling players earlier on in this window, we thought, right, they're raising funds to get Anthony, and then they ended up buying other people. So you've gone and shown how much of a priority he really was for you. So don't sit there and be like, oh, we really, really want him. How badly do you really want him then? Because when you were selling players, that could have gone into the Anthony pot, and you could have done that move, And it looked like for a short period of time there that Betis were kind of out of it, because they were like, oh, it's too expensive. And then the Saudi links started happening, didn't they? Well, he could end up going to Saudi and they could afford him. And obviously we're like, we don't care where he goes, as long as they just give the right amount of money. But we've now got a couple of people on their way out that they only want specific clubs, which can make it complicated, because it does remove some amount of negotiating, doesn't it? Because, these clubs, like, for instance, the Garnacho one, Garnacho is always, I only want to go to Chelsea, even if Bayern Munich come in. And if, he's turning those down, well, when United are now in this negotiation with Chelsea, where they're looking at us going, we know you don't want him. We know you have to sell him. The window's closing. And we're like, and he only wants to come to us. So either he comes to us or he just stays with you. Or United are like, yeah, I don't care, but we're not going to be embarrassed. Like Alejandro Garnacho can't go to Chelsea.
Say that.
Can't go to Chelsea for 25 million. Like he can't. Like
it's impossible.
We'd be fully taking the piss out of if that's the case. Like, it can't happen. Same way Anthony, look, Real Betis, he can't go to Real Betis for like 15 million. Like, he just can't. You know what I mean? Or however much they want to pay for him. And if they say, oh, it's too expensive, well, that's tough shit. Find a way to figure it out. Sell some more players or what have you. So, yes, I mean, I don't know what happened with that one, but they've got to figure it out.
Stiller, interesting. We'll see. We shall see. Right, let's get the super chats out. Tavra says, "Gone from signing Baleba to AGT's mate Doyle." Say he looks like Doyle. Does look a bit like Doyle. Danny Luciano says, "He's an 8, not 6 next season." Yes, not for this one exactly, because you're looking at the positions that he plays, etc., etc. Max says, he's gifted 5 UV memberships as well. Big up, 100%. Tabrez, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep the energy consistent. Just because you're mod and we get on, I'll keep the same thing. I think what people are doing about his appearance and stuff, and his nose, and he's got a cleft lip and stuff. I think some people are being a little bit silly with it. So Tabs, that's ticking off number 1. Let's stay away from, you know what I'm saying, laughing at his appearance and all of that stuff. I'm not really on that. I'm not really about that, bro. I'm not really about that. That's a ticking off for you. Aloha says, apparently, but thank you for the super chat, as always. Aloha from Liam says, apparently Chelsea value Garnacho at 25 million, which is laughable. We should keep our heads high, Mr. Vegas setting. and don't know why that's tickled me. And hold out for 50 million. That was funny, Aloha, from Liam. Big up to you. We can't accept 25 million. It is. And wait till you see the video with Matisse and I. When is that? Probably not today. When did we say again? Tomorrow. You'll see. And hopefully I actually hope we don't get a here we go before that, because it won't be out of date, because I have in the video I am saying you will end up with Garnacho, but it can change a little bit. Gavin, MUFC says, "Good morning, UV. Hopefully we get a good result this weekend." Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm actually really excited for Sunday. Not because I know we're going to win or this, that, and the other. It's more like, I don't know. Like, I want to see us play. I'm pretty confident actually about the weekend. I think, obviously, look, usually when we play against Fulham at Craven Cottage, we've got a half decent record there, but the matches are usually like really dross. Like the last few games we've played at Craven Cottage, obviously last season when Martinez scored his goal, was 1-0 game. It was an awful game. Year before that, awful game. Bruno scored in the last minute. Season before that, awful game. Garnacho scored with the last kick of the game. Like they've not been sort of amazing watches, but there is this, Old Trafford though, they've been on it against us.
Yeah, there is this, optimism around United, and these really are the ones. This is why going into the game last weekend, and I didn't want to say it too much because it felt like already writing the game off and quite defeatist of, it doesn't matter if we lose or what have you, that kind of thing. But like it wasn't the end of the world losing the first game of the season to Arsenal, because that could happen to any team in the Premier League that plays Arsenal first game, home or away. I know Chelsea played them, or if whoever played them, if Liverpool played them, that could happen. Of course it could. Of course, it could drop points. It's not the end of the world. The games that will really truly define whether Ruben Amorim is under pressure is these ones where we should be expected to win. We should be expected to beat Fulham, even though, away to anyone in the Prem's difficult. These are the ones should be expected to win. When we're playing Burnley at home, we're expected to win those games. If we go into the international break and we've played 4 games, including the Carabao Cup game, we're through to the next round of that, and we've got 6 points in the Prem, that's when you go, right, that's a good start for United. And that's more, because suddenly you go into the international break and you've won 3 games in a row, right? Because you include the 2 Prem games and the Grimsby game and the Carabao Cup. It's 3 games in a row. And United Strand's very close to getting a haircut. Thank God for him. So, so it's these are the ones where the pressure's on, but these are the ones where it's like, got to win. If he doesn't win at the weekend, then already that will be like people would be very, I think, justified of being like, yeah, then this is not good.
It's the same thing, and again, but also, not that it should, but say we lost in the same manner, not necessarily a goalkeeping error, but say the only error we made was, I don't know, Harry Wilson cutting and stuck it in the top corner. But other than that, we were all over them. It's the same thing again. Really good football, couldn't score, but again, another L. That it's gonna run out. It will run out soon.
Yeah, that'll be like, well, just that. Who cares? That will be like, well, yeah, okay, I get it. You're seeing it, but you can't spend like 200 million on a brand new attack and just be like, you still just can't put the ball in the back of the net.
No, you have to exactly. No. Excuses go. And I spoke to my good friend Jake, Fulham through and through. Shout out Jake, season ticket holder. He's not going to the game because he's at work, but we was talking in the group chat we're in, and he was like, if we play like we did against Brighton, you're going to smash us. And he's upset. They haven't made any signings for them. They've not made any signings. Like, and I say any, they signed Luke Harris from Birmingham. That's a loan, so he came back. And probably a second goalkeeper from Montpellier for 500k. He's 34 years of age. So they haven't signed anyone. I looked at their team that started last game. Same as last year, Wobie on the left, pretty much. Harry Wilson in midfield, Lukic and Zanderberg, central midfield. Cuenca, I don't know that centre back, but Calvin Bassey played left back. Actually, interesting. So where's Robinson? Then is he injured? Did Robinson leave? Where is he? He's not in the team. I don't think he left. I don't think he left, did he? So he didn't play. So maybe that's why Bassey played left back. But, Muniz off the bench to score the winner. Adama Traore off the bench. Castagna, Smith Rowe, Harrison Reed, Andreas Pereira, and you
knee surgery.
Right. So he's going to be out. So it'll be Calvin Bassey left back. And, Bassey's strong, and he's not a left back by trade, but he's proper strong. So that'll be Mbumo against Bassey. That's going to be handy. I'll tell you that. Yeah, it is Jake from Cheeky Sport. What a guy. What a guy. Cheeky Sport back in the days. If you know Jake, shout out Jake. Flex still rating Robinson. I still think he's a good player, yeah. He's hurt his knee, mate. What do you want? Flipping heck. No, he's done his knees. I don't rate him anymore. Come on, man. He's a good player. But yeah, Bassey, exactly. Calvin Bassey, quick for his size. That's going to be... that's not going to be easy in 1v1s. And Bumo's obviously on it. And that's why it's good to have someone like that where you're like, he's up to the task. But... it's going to be, it's basically my point is it's the same team. It's the same team. And Fulham fans, or my good Fulham fan mate, has said, I'm concerned. We haven't signed anyone. We haven't kicked on. No new significant sign. Exactly the same team. But that exact same team is a decent team. And got a draw against Brighton last time out. Probably didn't deserve it. Got it in the end. But yeah. There you go. Yeah, Bassey is perfect for left centre-back, by the way. Yeah. What are you saying? We should go and get Calvin Bassey. But attributes-wise, though, he is good. He is solid. But I think
he's good. Defenders, we're all right. It's midfield. It's goalkeeper. Yeah. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Smash a like, people. Where are we at for likes in terms of that? We are at 299. So we've got nearly 1,400 people watching, which is good. But I know you guys can do a lot better with the likes, man. You can get to 500 easy. Super Arch says. City moving for Le Mans as well, are they?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I mean, I think there's
as well as Donnarumma.
No, again, I think there's a bit of confusion about what City are going to do regarding like goalkeepers, because obviously the Edison to Galatasaray looks like that is going to happen, but then after how well he played against Wolves, it's a bit like, well, I don't know if you can have James Trafford as a backup goalkeeper all season, because you don't buy Donnarumma and then they're competing for the spot. Donnarumma's going in between the sticks, isn't he? So I don't know if they're sort of certain what they're going to do. Donnarumma's got to go somewhere at some point. So I don't know. It's a curious one, because suddenly there are a few goalkeepers that are actually out there on the market. Like obviously Donnarumma's on the market. Le Mans it looks like he's on the market. And that's quite interesting that we're looking for a goalkeeper. Again, this is when it goes back to when we'll talk about Hojlund in just a second. With all of these outgoings, it will be interesting to see what happens on the last couple of days once that we've sort of we know how much money we're going to have to spend. If United do go, actually, you know what? we think we can go get a goalkeeper, like you said before. Well, let's put a loan out for Donnarumma, see what happens. He's not gone anywhere. Let's have a look. Or Lamens say, actually, we can do that. We were going to, and like the Baleba situation, well, we were really going to buy a goalkeeper next season, but the opportunity's there, so let's just get it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. But I haven't seen the thing about them going after them. I mean, if they were going to get like a more of a backup goalkeeper, then maybe you would say like, well, Lamens makes a bit more sense because he's a bit younger, and they could go down that route. But we're talking about Lamens coming in, and he might be like a starting goalkeeper. So I don't know what they would do in that case. City, have they still got? Did Ortega leave in the end? Is he still there?
That's a good question as well. There's so much going on at the keepers.
He still plays for City.
So I'm saying, there's so much going on in that department, but none of the players have actually left yet. But they're linked with all these players, and they brought in James Trafford, brought him back to the club, and you're thinking he's going to be the number one, which he did play the other day. So you're almost sure Ederson's going to be out, but it hasn't happened yet. But I think Ederson will go, so they'll need another keeper. So watch this space. But the Donnarumma one's interesting because could we just go in with a loan last few days, Bayindir, sorry mate, this, that, and the other. You loan Bayindir somewhere. He goes back to Turkey or, I don't know, somewhere. And then all of a sudden, you loan Donnarumma. But I just can't see Donnarumma and Onana being there for the season at the same time. Can't see that. Because you still got to give Donnarumma big wages. I don't.
I mean, unless it is just one of those ones where they go, look, we just long term, we're going with Donnarumma. Like, we just know Onana just spends the season on the bench knowing that, like, he's going to be out.
Yeah, he has a Ramsdale season when they brought in Raya.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't see Onana except like Onana just wouldn't accept, like he'll just move.
Oh, tough shit.
Which is maybe
like said, just move.
Yeah. I just can't see it. Superart said he said he saw it on Sky Sports, so I'll have to look at that one. I haven't seen that. Rasmus Hojlund, Napoli loan. What's the latest?
Yes, this is quite interesting.
Or should we say permanent?
Possibly, yes. As you mentioned, as Flex mentioned, we got close to 1,400 people watching. We're at 335 likes. Let's see if we can get to 400 on our road to 500 this morning. Rasmus Hojlund. He is. Looks like his days are indeed numbered at Manchester United. We knew that, and he could be heading to Napoli. Fabrizio Romano saying yesterday that Manchester United informed Napoli that they're open to both loan with option or obligation to buy for Rasmus Hojlund. The preference, of course, is for an obligation, but it's up to Napoli. While Hojlund insists on an obligation as he wants to feel full confidence for the long term in his future club, because, of course, he's taking a bit of a hit with the confidence now at United. It's been a difficult time for him, and he supports the club, and they've sort of said, look, no, it's not working out. It's over. Even after the first few days of insistence, no, fight out. No, there's nothing to fight for, mate. It's done. Romano said that Hojlund always wanted to stay and fight for his place at United, like I mentioned, but Ruben Amorim sent a clear message by not bringing him on against Fiorentina and involving him at all against Arsenal. Now, Hojlund has no choice but to leave. Hojlund wants his deal to include a loan with an obligation to buy because he wants to feel, as I mentioned, confidence by his new club / wants a permanent move. Gianluca Di Marzio also saying that Napoli are continuing these discussions for Rasmus Hojlund. They have not ruled out incoming on an obligation to buy to secure it. So an interesting thing here is that Hojlund was actually still being offered to Bayern Munich, but the club is yet to act on that. That came from Florian Plettenberg. So it does look like he's probably going back to Italy on this one. And it does look like it is happening. This obviously is based also on Napoli requiring or needing a striker. Of course, they have Romelu Lukaku as their striker, but he got a knee injury. He's out for a couple of months at the very least, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I suppose that's when it gets into the obligation versus option scenario, because are they just looking for a striker on a temporary basis because Lukaku is out? Therefore, could they be more preferred to an option to buy? Or do they see Hojlund as a bit of a market opportunity and they go, actually, you know what? He's, like we were saying for the last couple of years, he's young, and if it works out, and he's played in Italy before, and he's got a good reputation in Serie A, he knows the league, he could come in and he could do quite well, and there's not a lot of longevity in Romelu Lukaku, is there? So maybe this is a good opportunity for us.
And I was talking to Andy Brazel, European football expert, and he was sort of saying that if Rasmus does go to Napoli, it's good because he also doesn't have to be the main guy. Football Scholars helped me out. He named a player who they'd bought off of Udinese, who's their striker. Maybe look at Napoli's last game, who started up front, and I'll go, yeah, him. Someone will know in the chat. The Scholars will help. But they bought him from Udinese or somewhere else in the league, and he could be the main guy, I think. But he was basically saying that it wouldn't be all the pressure just on Rasmus having to play all the games up front like he does here, because they've bought a guy in. So I think it can work. You look at, like you said, like Ridwan says there, I was saying this the other day, Napoli is a much more stable environment. Of course,
signed Lorenzo Luca. It was a loan with an obligation to buy, €9 million.
From where? Is it Udinese?
Udinese, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, make sure you listen when people talk to you, Fleck. Yeah, that's it, yeah. So yeah, he said they signed him. I think he's like 30 or something, or he's a bit older. So he can...
He is, I'll tell you, he is 24.
Oh, 24. He's not a bit older.
Yeah.
Must have been another player. Wasn't listening. Wasn't paying attention. But anyway, they got him. So he doesn't... Basically, Hojlund doesn't need to be the main striker. And as Ridwan says, the environment at Napoli, clearly, under Antonio Conte, is one of harmony, is one of unity, is one of togetherness. They're the champions. You look at the transition that Scott McTominay has made out there. Be another friendly face for him to be around as well. Young Billy Gilmore's in a similar position. Yeah. Not in terms of their nationalities or anything, but just young players having to forge away in a new culture. And let's not forget, Rasmus has played in Italy already. So in fact, he's got a leg up over these guys because he knows what Italy's all about. He's played in the league, probably can speak the language, knows quite a lot of Italian there anyway. So it's quite a seamless move for him to make, and he's essentially going to the best team in Italy as it stands. So I think it could work. It's interesting that he wants an obligation. And this is what I was talking about what I was told in the summer about how he's feeling of like, okay, I've made this move from Atalanta after a quick stint. I've had a couple of years at Man United, it hasn't gone well. Then they might try and loan me to Leipzig. Don't really want to be there. All of a sudden, it's been 5 years and you're like, you haven't kickstarted your career, And I know he's young, but time waits for no man, right? And before you know it, his whole career has stifled where, he hasn't been how he wanted to be. So he's looking for that security. He's looking for that reassurance of, I don't want to just finish that loan, then go back to Man United. And obviously they're not going to want me to play there. They're moving on with Šeško and then even better after that. God knows who we're going to get for our backup strikers when we really start getting into our bag of improving this squad. This is just phase one of like getting the real guys in. He's going to want that security. So, but that's different for Napoli because they're like, we want to get him in, have a look at him. Might not want to do obligation, might not want to sign up to that. But then that doesn't really suit Rasmus because he wants to know what he's doing so he can sort of lay his bed and get comfortable. So, yeah, I think, listen, Rasmus will get a move. I just think, and he's entitled to because he's been forced out and he's not good enough, but he's going to look for the right move for him, which again, sins of the past. You've signed someone who it hasn't worked out, not necessarily on the biggest contract, but they were signed for a big fee. Now he has to, now he's got to find where he wants to go.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think obviously he will get this move. He was also linked, wasn't he, with AC Milan too. So he's had these sort of Serie A links. And it feels like that's going to happen. United, and it just shows how keen they are to move him on as well. They're willing to take a loss on him too. It looks like we're going to get around possibly 40 million total package. Whether that's
we can't not take a loss on him, even if we were willing not. Impossible.
Exactly. And then that's when it gets back into if it's an obligation. If Napoli go, yeah, we'll buy him. We'll give you a 5 million loan fee, and it's we sign him for 35 million. That's 40 million package. And suddenly United once again look at this transfer window here and go, that's about 40 that we know is coming in. Garnacho goes to Chelsea. We don't know how much, but when that is done, let's say a compromise is met and it's 40 million or something ridiculous. If they go, well, that's 40 is pure profit. Suddenly that's when we were talking about, I think, these goalkeepers or maybe a midfielder. When you get to that last day of the window, you go, actually, does that money burn a hole in your pocket and go, out of curiosity, let's just put a loan offer in for Donnarumma. Let's just see what PSG would say. Let's just see what they say. And then if there's something in it, then I think then United do have those discussions, a bit like they did with Carlos Baleba, going, would we be doing this deal for next summer? Like, would we be doing this? And if it's like, yes, we absolutely would, because this is what we need future, then I think they can sort of have this feeling of, right, okay, that's acceptable then. Yes, we're dipping into next year's budget, but that's acceptable because this is a signing we would have done next year. I don't think they're going to go with like just, we've got the money now, let's just spend it on anyone for the sake of spending it. I think it has to line up with, the people that they would be going for anyway, like Baleba. But
of course.
I think we'd be foolish to be like, Man United won't sign another player in this transfer window.
No,
I think it's unlikely,
they've
but
got
I
to.
don't think you can
They've
rule
got
it
to
out.
because they're leaving the manager too. Unlikely, but they're leaving the manager too short. You know, I know people are saying he's got to manage. You got to get the best out of what you got, and this, that, and the other. If that's what you got, that's what you got. You've still been backed generously at the top end of the pitch, which is where clearly all your priorities were. At any point, now I know I asked you this, and we did kind of go, I wouldn't really swap any of them. We did need Sesko. You do need Cunha. You do need Mbeumo. Some people push back and say you don't need Cunha and Mbeumo. Some people push back and say you could have got one of those. You keep Bruno in the position he's in, or you keep Ahmad in those 10s, or Mason Mount, or Kobe, whichever one you want to do, because you've got quite a few, and Xerxes, and you get one of Cunha and Mbeumo, and money would have been better spent going to get. Maybe we could have got a better chance of getting Baleba if you'd have done that. Maybe you'd have got a better chance of getting, I don't know, Donnarumma if you'd have done that, and the team would be better if we did that. But I don't agree with that.
Nah, I don't agree with that. We needed this is how far off we were in that department. We needed 2 new 10s. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got one. No, we needed to. And yes, obviously you could do the thing of, why no, you could play Bruno there and have Cunha or and Mbeumo, and then you get that midfielder. But we needed that. We needed. I think that's why I'm really excited to watch this again this weekend, because that just us when we were attacking, because they are all new players, it did just feel rather so fresh, and like I said, so different. And I mentioned it during the game. Like, I'm so used to having this instinctual reaction of whenever we went on the attack, like with the old players, I've seen it before. Like, the outcome. It's like we've seen this TV show. You know what they're going to do. Like, so with Rashford or Garnacho or even, Sancho or Anthony, Anthony, but we know he's going to cut in and not do anything. Rashford, we know he's going to go down blind alleys and not do anything, and then sort of go, oh. We know Alejandro Garnacho, if he gets the chance, he's not going to score. He's going to miss, or the keeper's going to save, miss his chances. Rasmus Hojlund, we know he's going to wrestle and then fall to the ground. Like, all of these players, we know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So having this feeling last week of Bryan Mbeumo when he's running forward with it or he's pressing people down, I'm going, I haven't seen this like this. I believe he can score. I believe he can do it. Or Matheus Cunha, when he was driving with the ball and he's surrounded by white shirts last week and he's still getting through them all and he's doing a bit of skill. I'm like, I haven't seen this. Like, I believe in them to score, and I'm enjoying watching them. So having that difference, having that, and then Šeško came on, couldn't really get involved in the game, but as he starts more games, he'll and this is the other part of it too. They're gonna get better because they're gonna play with each other more often. We're already seeing a bit of link up by Mbeumo and Cunha. That's going to get better. So that was needed. And I wouldn't sacrifice that, because I still believe that even without those positions that we do need, not having the best keeper will cost us points this season. Not having that midfielder will cost us points this season. But I think that's offset by the amount of points that having a brand new front three will get us. Like, having those goals will be a difference of, like, I think 20 plus points from last year, which could be enough to get us into European football. Yeah,
it should be. Shout out Mfondo says, where can you get this jersey I'm wearing? The old school United away kit. This was from, I think, 95, 96, I want to say. Or was it? No, 96, 97, I want to say. Someone in the chat let me know the exact year. The scholars. Do you know what? I just got this off eBay ages ago. I think I got it off eBay. Was it vintage? I think it was eBay. Replica. It was brand new, but replica. Like, when they do the remakes.
Yeah, I think I remember you getting it. I remember you getting it. You went, oh, I've just got these replica. Look at this. I remember you saying that. And there was, you got
it's like really good quality, man. Like, got a bunch of them. Yeah. And one of them, sometimes the size is a bit off. One of them I couldn't wear, so I had to stick that on the mannequin. Yeah. The old school one with the lace.
Yeah. I've seen you wear it.
Yeah, not on camera. Yeah. Put that on the mannequin. It was a chiseled fucking body.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those ones where you had to check if it was spray painted on to flex. It was like,
But I am optimized now, so maybe I can wear it. So, but because I'm optimized, muscles have got bigger, so that's what it would take up more of the room. So chest is chesting now. So yeah, but no, I do. Yeah. Night Pro. It's on the mannequin. Is it a fake shirt? Yeah, it's a replica. Like, when you want to buy the original ones of these that are like brand new with the tag on, it's very, 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 very difficult to find that. Or you have to find one that's been worn about 100 times, that's still in good nick off like classic football shirts, cost you about £200, £300, £400, £500, £600 maybe. Or you can get like, really good replicas. Yeah, the badge is stitched like it's proper. Is it? Maybe it isn't a replica. No, it is a replica because it's so. I don't know. It would not look this good after.
It's too fresh. Yeah,
like a 30-year-old kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
95, 90, it's nearly 30 years. So
yeah, that's where I was born, 95.
Yeah. So there you go. Also, Nasco says we can't do we could have spent the money better argument when we could have gotten a hefty sum for Bruno and got the money for 2 to 3 players more. So, a lot of people are that. I knew as soon as Bruno that, publicly said, I didn't want to go, and then obviously people said, yeah, but the club should have made him. Look what you're doing to Rasmus. You make it clear you're not welcome here anymore, Bruno. Get out. And I don't know, when you're trying to build a new culture, you need people who knit the dressing room together, and he is our best player. And I think we've kept him and added so much quality. But still, every time it goes wrong, it is going to go back to this. Why is he still here? There's 100 million thing on his head. I can see it. Every time he's running around and the pass spams, out of play or the mistake happens, but I see 100 million on top of his head. What have we done?
It's always going to, like I said, it's always going to be a thing. And I think with Bruno, it's one of those things where it's just always going to be a thing. There was like a stat. I think I'm just trying to find it now because I saw it on.
Statman Dave had it.
Was it about
he created
nobody? Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Statman Dave. He created the most shooting opportunities. I think.
Yeah, something like that. And I thought again that sums up. So Bruno Fernandes. Oh, that's not that one. Where is it? It's basically about creating chances over the weekend. Nobody had created. Oh, there you go. In the opening weekend of the 25-26 Premier League. This is from Statman Dave. Actually, I'll get up on the screen for you. Innovation. Yeah, innovation. That's what we do on United View. Innovate. There you go. With what you call it and the thingy. There you go. And I like this one better. In the opening weekend of the 25-26 Premier League, Bruno Fernandes had the most shot-creating actions, 12, and the joint most chances created, 5. Mateus Cunha had the joint most successful take-ons, 4, and the joint most shots on target, 3. Brian Mbeumo had the most progressive carries, 8. Ahmad had the joint most carries into the box, 5, which is pretty mad because he came on second half. Yeah. Patrick Dorgu had the joint most dribblers tackles, 4, and fouls 1, 4. Lenny Yoro had the joint most interceptions, 4. But I was really more looking at that Bruno one. So basically, the idea is there that actually United played really, really well, and there's not too much to worry about, kind of thing. But we lost the game. But that top one there, Bruno Fernandes had the most shot creating actions, 12, and the joint most chances created. Like he created 5 chances in that game. I thought it was just really. It kind of does sum Bruno Fernandes up to an extent, doesn't it? Because
he's always going to do it.
Because he didn't, because it wasn't one of his best games, and he was in it poor. Like there were points where Bruno's passing, and he was being, he's doing Bruno stuff where he's forcing it, was trying stupid stuff, and you go, oh, come on, Bruno, and it's really frustrating. But at the end of the game, he will always have those stats because that's how he plays. He is always just. Sometimes to his detriment, trying to force stuff, trying to make it happen. He's relentless in that in that sense. Like he always try. And because of that, he gets that kind of situation. And I thought it's that argument about, whether or not that's a good thing or his style of play, whether it's a good thing for us versus those statistics. I was like, that's not going to go anywhere. If anything, to your point, it's just going to be heightened because he could have gone for 100 million. So if you're in that camp of, you can say those stats though, but I'm watching the game and he's hurting the team by trying to force it at the wrong times. He's always trying something that hurts us now because, you're if anything, you're going to be 100 million times more staunch in your belief that he should have gone because you're like 100 million. We could have got that. Whereas I think in the other camp, I think it's just going to make people go in the opposite direction, like further in their directions and opposite directions from each other about their views on Bruno. He's going to become a even bigger flashpoint, I think, this season. Whereas, like you said, if we have a game where we lose and he doesn't play well, it's going to be the narrative will be 100 million. We could have gotten that. We could have got that centre midfielder. We could have got that goalkeeper, and we didn't. And those people that are believers in him will be, but look at that. Look at that. And he'll score goals this season. He'll have games where he wins us the game. And he'll be, he's still our best player. And, up yours. It's just going to get even bigger. That we are, unfortunately, I think, going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes a lot this season.
Oh, 100 in
I'm sure of
every,
it.
and this is what I've been talking about. Like I said it from day one. Like he's gonna be that guy. He's gonna be that. And Jay Wells says Bruno Lover's crying. He just and I'm gonna do my best. I say that because on game week 1, me and Bradley were arguing so much over Bruno. Check out, and I mean having it before dinner.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's just going to get more. It's going to get bigger. It's 100 million times bigger now.
Yeah, and it got really cool. I'm saying, look, Bradley, we're playing because Bradley was going. He's so scared. Man, just got no balls. He's Ruben Greyjoy. He's Ruben Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. If you know, you know, right? And before the game, he's like, he's got no balls. Like, why is he not playing Ahmad? What is it going off? And I was like, listen, I do hear it. Like, I hear you. I did do a proper Bradley because he was losing his shit. And I'm going, but the manager's gone with this. It's the first game. Let's see how we play. Let's see what it looks like. And then we're on the front. And then I find myself going, when I'm looking at how we're playing during that first half, I'm going, see, look, you said we wouldn't be able to. We're creating chance. Great. What do you want? I said, what do you want? We just can't score. And I'm doing that. And he's like, oh, we ain't scored yet, though. I'm not impressed, you know. Then they score. You know, and I'm like, then we get back to business and playing well. We didn't even want half time to come. Dorgu hits the post. Then the save from Raya from Cunha. And again, I'm going, look at that ball from Bruno. Look, what more do you want? We're doing all right. We're actually playing well. Like, we're going at it. And, yeah. And look, and then at the end of it, like I said, his thing was, I'm not giving him any credit for that. The reason I'm giving it, it's just better because we bought better players. And a lot of people share that. A lot of people share that we did what we did because, yeah, you buy Bruno and you buy Mbeumo and Cunha and replace that with, you know, I don't know, Ahmad, and he was playing in the 10 for us, Ahmad and Garnacho. Yeah, it's going to be better because those two are better. He was just going off that. So shout out Brad. He was saying, yeah, this is what it is.
Well, Fleck, you know, it's happened again to us. It's happened again to us. Remember when we did the show and Ben Jacobs, and then right at the end, he was like, actually, about that Brian Mbeumo second bid didn't really happen. Well, yeah. Florian Plettenberg has just done this post saying, rumours linking Manchester United with Angelo Stiller are wide of the mark. Yep. There are no internal or external discussions, nor any concrete plans regarding a Manchester United move for Stiller before deadline day. He will go into the season with VfB Stuttgart. His contract runs until 2028. And just to rub it in a little bit more, top player.
Right. Change the thumbnail, put the X. Change the thumbnail. No Stiller. No Stiller with an X. We're going to change the thumbnail. If you do watch this late, you're going to have to get to the end of the video for us to actually bring you the news, which is, you know, it's how it goes, isn't it? It's how it goes sometimes. Sorry. Right. Actually, hold on. Before we get to Sancho to Roma, hold on, wait a minute. We did that already. Aminor says the UK fans will abuse Stiller's nose, unfortunately. Listen, what they choose to do is what they choose to do, but in our community, we're not on that. Look. And also, you know.
And even if they do, I mean, because I remember, I think last night, maybe me and James, I didn't even mean to do one, but I technically did one. But it was technical. I didn't even mean to. I technically did one. But look, at the end of the day, who's really winning? Right? He's a professional footballer, you know, for Stuttgart. So, you know, I think he's winning at life, isn't he?
Exactly. Nasco says, I'm not saying we should have, but we could have. And Nasco said, oh, he's also become a member as well. Big up to Nasco. Thank you for that, bro. Right, did we get to 500 likes? Or are you lot still being 479?
Yeah, 21 away. 21 away. And when we end the Sancho story, it'll be 500. Yeah, I believe. Just very quickly on Jadon Sancho. The Roma thing still might be happening. It looked like he had turned it down, but Alfredo Padula saying that Sancho to Roma is still a possibility with the Italian club in non-stop contact for the Manchester United. Non-stop. That's annoying, to be honest. If you're Man United, just leave us alone. Dialogue will continue in the coming hours, and Roma are waiting for the green light on Sancho. A bit more from this. Florian Plettenberg also said that Sancho's name was placed under discussion following Bayern Munich's plan. But however, there is no general consensus over him internally. Some people are saying that Vincent Kompany saw him during his time at Man City and probably was like, nah, not having it. And Gianluca Di Marzio also saying that Roma continue to insist on Jadon Sancho, but the player's not yet given the green light to the transfer. So they're still trying their very best to convince him to accept. And here's hoping Roma do it. You know, if you can do it, Roma, great. That I think, as is always going to be the case with anything Jadon Sancho, it's just going to be determined on can they figure out what's going to happen in terms of a wage situation, right? That's what it's going to be. Can they figure out, if Man United are going to have to bridge the gap? Is there going to be something where Roma commit to increasing wages? I don't know. I don't know. But if they can pull that off, and they said they were going to pay 20 odd million for him, didn't they? So I'll have that.
We need Sancho. Yeah, we need Sancho to say yes. We need him to say yes. But I don't know. Does he want to go there on permanent? I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But he's going to get his money. But does he want to stay in Roma after that? So we shall see. We shall see. Right. Big up to everyone in the chat. Leo says that make my tribal chief Kenny Fan TV a mod. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. We made Tabrez a mod, although he was very naughty today. He's been unmodded. He's on probation. So yeah, we shall see. But we'll keep Kenny Fan TV in mind. I always see Kenny Fan TV in the chat. Big up to you, Kenny. We could look at that for sure. All right, people, smash a like, man, on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the Football Flex after this. Got a video dropping there. And of course the Trinity later on without KG as well. Actually, without KG, he has called me. He has called me this morning. Yes. Right. So yes, there you go. Hopefully there should be some sort of Trini. We should let you know. Yes, there you go. Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of it. Take care. Peace.